Ladies and gentlemen, I am back with you again. This time we are looking at understanding gender landscape in our context. And by this we mean we are not talking about in foreign lands, we're talking about right here in Jamaica because most of what we experience here impact the way our children are socialized. We all tend to seem to understand that our society, or we have learned along the way, that this really is a patriarchal society. That means it is the male that is most dominant and making decisions. That's the thunder there, don't be scared. And that is going to be with us for a long time, so let us see if we can focus. It's okay if you're staggered. However, when you look close or examine closer what is happening in our society, we find that the men are no longer in that dominant position. No, it is debatable, I know. Because what you see, for example, is that within the homes, or most of our homes, are headed by females. And what you see happening with our children as they come to school is that they begin to demonstrate the behaviors of what they see in their homes, whether or not a male or female is the head of the household. And even if there's a male there, sometimes as if the male is not there, he has not a voice. Again, it is the woman. So the child, the manifestation of behavior of the gender that we see in our classroom is a result of the home influence. Some people feel that the men are marginalized simply because they are separated from the family unit, sometimes by choice, and people say it's because of our African ancestry that the men keep running away, and you hear all kinds of stories about that. We understand too that the men sometimes are not there because they don't have the financial resources to really take care of their family, and some of them just run away because they only see themselves as they would say, planting the seed. So they plant the seed and they move on. No, we're having straight talk because we do understand the kind of challenges that we experience in our classroom regarding the male. Subsequent to all of what we're trying to understand, this background, this landscape that we have for gender, we need to understand too that within the home, if there's a boy, for instance, and there's no father there for him to demonstrate that model, he tends to want to ignore the commands of his mom and rather run outside to play ball and so, simply because somewhere along the line has been communicated to him that the woman is the weaker sex. And maybe we as women too are responsible for that, because the way we treat the boys, we are very tender and gentle, and so when it comes on to the girls, and then the boys, we want them to be rough and tough, and it creates some kind of, and the boys not listening to us because guess what happens? We are truly demonstrating female roles. Females can't demonstrate male roles, although some will take me up in other quarters to discuss that yes, women are basically functioning as men in essence, and we think about the book My Father, Son Johnson, and we talk about My Mother Who Fathered Me, and all these things whereby we have real strong models of women who are asserting themselves within their home, within their workplace, to try to communicate intentionally and unintentionally the social roles that are expected of our boys and girls. Yes, men will say that they will not agree, some of them, but the women will say that the men are marginalized simply because they do not associate themselves frequently with their family. They tend to want to run off to have recreational activities with their friends. The woman rather is at home doing all the work. The man comes home, he sits and he reads a newspaper, and the women are there trying to keep the home together and meeting the needs of the family. The men are not there because of job insecurity. The men are not there because of high unemployment, and so they have to go far afield to find a job in order to maintain their family. And sometimes when they go, they have a interest and they don't come back. You have another set of men who tend to want to migrate to other places in terms of finding greener pastures. A lot of them go off on the farm work program in Canada and in America. They are there for a long time. So by the time they come back to reunite with their families, they have to go again, all in the name of trying to earn a dollar to stabilize their family. And what you find is that a lot of our men who go off to do this, they are unfortunately, they are within in the lower social class. Now how do we fix that? The few men who are there who are earning top dollar are way at the top of the ladder, and sometimes they themselves might not be at home to supporting their wives too. But then again, you tell me, that is also debatable. We also see whereby the lower class, rather I should say the men in the lower class, aren't able to fulfill their function as husbands and fathers. Again, maybe because of schooling, education, socialization, they don't know and they don't know how to define themselves as husband and father. They don't understand it. They never saw the mothers ever in their lives simply because their fathers were never there to present that kind of model for them. And then the few mothers that there are out there in terms of strong role models, again, might not be such wholesome ones too, or maybe they are disconnected. All right. The question people ask all the time, they define for me a father. And I asked a few people about, and they began to try to clarify for me what a father is like, or even a mother for that matter. And they see the father as providing economic support. Another said, see the father as only giving attention and emotional support to maybe his wife and family. Alright? Others just say just to show love, that means it's all about a sexual affair, and that is not enough. And you have a small minority now who see themselves as just being responsible. We don't have enough of those. And those are the ones that you see taking the children to school and dialoguing with you, the teachers down there, and ask a question here and there. And sometimes so they're at the PTA as well. Unlike that now, we see the women now as nurturers. They are the burden bearers. They are the problem solvers. They have the answers. They are the go-getters. They are at the forefront. They're asking the questions. They are going beyond the call of duty to ensure that their children succeed and that their children have a strong emotional support to survive the odds, and more often than not to come out far better than they did in terms of their schooling. So these are some of the factors that we consider when we think about or understanding the gender landscape in our context. And yes, historically and sociologically, we can put a lot of factors together. But as we begin to think about that, it means therefore that we as educators, early child educators, we have a greater role in communicating to our children the strength of character. The strength of being. So even though, yes, we know the father figure is not there, and even though in some cases the mother is not there, and even though there are rare cases whereby there is mother and father, our boys and girls need to grow up understanding that it's a non-discriminatory process, and that's the same thing the boys can do in terms of the chores. The girls can do it likewise. We just have to prepare them. It's a global society. The times are changing. There's a shift in thinking. And we have got to prepare our children to understand themselves in terms of the gender that they see and are able to project. Thank you.